So I'm guessing that episode 3 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers is an eco-friendly episode. I knew we were going to have at least one of these. Today's episode was rather underwhelming. Um, Only have maybe one negative to talk about. I hope that all episodes from this point going forward, again, I'm going to re-emphasize on the fact that we need more action scenes in these series. Staying optimistic that Hasbro will right the wrongs of Saban, but after watching today's episode, it seems like they are still trying to dumb it down to a point where little kids can watch. And again, I get that. It's on Nickelodeon. Kids love Power Rangers. I get that. But don't alienate your older fans. This is exactly what Saban was continuing to do, alienating his older fans. I was 9 in 1993 when Mighty Morphin aired. And I was so excited every Saturday morning to watch. I want to continue being excited to watch Power Rangers, even though I'm now an adult, married with my own kids. My 8-year-old son loves Power Rangers. Even he's still on the fence about Beast Morphers. But on with this review. I'm going to try to make it short. I'm still not feeling too well. So, here we go. Episode 3 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. End of the Road. Well, not for the series, but that's just the title of this episode. So, in this episode, it opens with the Yellow Ranger's new invention, the Morph X bike. Yeah, a bicycle that runs off of morphing energy. We need that. Why? Well, like I stated, this is an eco-friendly episode. The mayor of Coral Harbor, Devin, the Red Ranger's father, is considering building a road through their local forest. And of course, being an eco-friendly episode, and the Power Rangers being who they of course are against it. They proceed to try to get the mayor not to build the road by offering an alternative mode of transportation. That being the MorphX bikes. You see where the problem is coming from this idea? Yeah, I'm getting to it. Just wait. Well, the mayor agrees to give them a chance, to give the Yellow Ranger a chance at her invention to see if it'll catch on with the residents of Coral Harbor. And if it works, he will cancel the road building project. Obviously, he's a reasonable guy. He's not just, he's just not an a-hole. Which is good. Well, the MorphX bikes, as you can imagine, run off of morphing energy. Where is that a problem? Because you're going to distribute these to the public. The villains are after morphing energy. They are after the MorphX. It's almost like saying here, go ahead and attack our populace. Hurt them. Possibly murder them for their MorphX bikes, which contain the morphing energy that they want. And technically, this does happen, but not to, normal people. It happens to the Rangers themselves. Well, each time she tries to promote the MorphX bike, who else shows up, obviously, but Blaze, to try to steal the MorphX energy from the bikes. He even creates a monster out of a bike pump, a tire pump. Again, it's just like the Sentai version, Tokubei Sentai Go Busters. The villain Enter, who Blaze is representing in this, he would basically upload a virus to basically any inanimate object, and it would become a monster. Again, how that works, I don't know, but that's the Morphin Grid for you. there wasn't a whole lot of action in this episode. Mainly due to, for some reason, they were focusing on putting the Power Rangers on bicycles for an exciting road chase. No, it wasn't exciting. It wasn't. During the Yellow Rangers demonstration of the Morph X bikes, of course, Blaze shows up, creates a monster as a distraction. The Rangers morph, which I gotta tell you, is actually the one thing about this episode that I did like. I stated before in the last review that I didn't think when they morphed, their morphers were going to have the visor display on the morphers that existed on the Morphin brace from Tokimei Sentai Go Busters. When they morphed, the visor would unfold, pop up, and that's how the visors would form to their helmets during the morphing sequence. Well, they actually did include this in a pretty cool way, actually. I actually loved the morphing sequence, so as long as they keep doing a morphing sequence like that, it'll be worth it to watch the episode just to watch the morph. It's just too bad that the actual fight sequence that followed was very lackluster. Well, as you can imagine, the Power Rangers morph. Blaze tries to morph, but he's out of Morph X. So he decides to just jump on one of the Morph X bikes and try to get away. This is where the stupidest thing I've probably seen in Power Rangers so far happens. Well, instead of getting in their Zords, or how about this, the Red Ranger has a motorcycle, use the motorcycle to catch up to the villain because it's a motorcycle. Obviously, it's faster than a bicycle. No, the Rangers actually, while morphed, actually decide to get on the Morph-X bikes and chase down Blaze on the bicycles. Power Rangers on bicycles, everyone. Hooray. Exciting. Of course, we're going to see them chase Blaze down a busy road, which they claim is dangerous. The cars are only driving maybe 10 miles an hour. That's not very dangerous. They're doing flips and tricks and BMX style maneuvers all over the place. Flipping, jumping over cars, whatever have you. Again, that would have been cool if they were on, say, motorcycles and not bicycles. Power Rangers on bicycles. I just can't get over it. The Red Ranger has a motorcycle. He could have got on that, cut him off in literally an instant, keep him from where he was heading to, and there would have been no problem whatsoever. But instead, they just barely keep up with him, get to a warehouse destination where Roxy and a bunch of minions are waiting with more stolen Morph X. Roxy decides to morph into her superpowered form, which is basically the escape character from Tokimei Sentai Go Busters. While Blaze decides to teleport back to the cyber dimension with some, not all, but some of the stolen Morph X, just enough to fuel one of their Megabots. It was a relatively short fight scene that was rather... The fight was obscured. You could barely see it because it was in the background with the Blue Ranger talking to the headquarters about the giant robot that has just appeared in the city. The Blue Ranger, Robbie, leaves to fight the Megabot by himself in his Gorilla Zord. Cool. That was cool. The whole transforming, gorilla transforming sequence, that was cool. The hand-to-hand aspect of it was kind of cool, even though it only lasted a few seconds. And all I'm going to say is, I'm not going to spoil much, but all I'm going to say is banana missiles. It happened in Go Busters, so of course it's going to happen here. But again, one Zord just doesn't seem to be enough, and the Megabot decides to begin to steal the Morph X from his Gorilla Zord and of course he couldn't do it on his own. The Yellow Ranger decides to fight Roxy on her own, using the new combination of their Morph X cannon, combining the sword and the blaster together, which is, again, is cool. It happened in Go Busters. That's supposed to happen. I loved it. That was cool. A cute little exchange back and forth. Oh, you're pretty tough. Oh, you're pretty tough. Yeah. Banter. Well, Roxy decides to blast one of the Morphex bikes behind the Yellow Ranger, hoping it would explode. Instead, the Yellow Ranger removes the Morphex core from the bike, throws it back at her, and it makes all of the rest of the Morph-X that she had stolen explode behind her instead, forcing her to retreat. The Yellow Ranger then collapses and says, I need a carrot. Okay. The Red Ranger, joining the Zord battle with Robbie, obviously gets into his, what he calls his Racer Zord. It transforms into Megazord form. And, of course, he summons his Cheetah Blaster and proceeds to once again, use the blaster in the cockpit to deliver a sword finishing strike on the enemy, which, again, I mentioned this in the last review, that I just think that's dumb. I mean, yeah, the finishing sequence is cool, but them implementing the fact that that a blaster initiates a sword attack, it just makes no sense. It just doesn't. So again, I'm hoping that they fix that at some point, or just ignore it altogether. I don't know who approved that, but it just doesn't work for me. But once again, we have not yet to see the forming of the actual Megazord yet. And at this point in Tokome Sentai Go Busters, and the Sentai counterpart from Japan, the Megazord had already been formed by this point. I think it was formed by episode 2, or actually by episode 3. So for them to still be holding out on that, I have no idea why they're holding out on that. There's plenty of stock footage of Megazord battles and formations to where they can use. They don't need to wait. This episode would have been a lot better if we had seen the Megazord at the end, because the rest of the episode, again, was just an eco-friendly thing. I mean, the Rangers even went as far to start collecting all of the animals, even bugs and lizards, from the forest, from the area where the road is going to be in construction. Well, I guess the Yellow Ranger's mother decided to record the Power Rangers on the Morphex bikes, doing all of their flashy tricks and maneuvers, chasing down the bad guy, and put it on the internet, and apparently it went viral. So now all of the people in Coral Harbor want Morphex bikes because the Power Rangers use them. God, please don't let the Power Rangers use the bikes anymore. Please. The Red Ranger has a motorcycle. Let him use his motorcycle. Ugh. Again, just watch it for yourself, guys. The whole scene with the Power Rangers on the bicycles was just funny. I just had to laugh. I almost cried a little, but I just wanted to laugh. Of course, the mayor himself rides in on a Morphex bike and makes the joke that, why would I need a limousine? This is more fun. Decides to tell all of the construction workers that he has canceled the road building project because everyone in Coral Harbor now want Morphex bikes. Sucks for the construction workers. They're out of a job. And believe it or not, that was episode 3 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. End of the road. It is far from the end of the road for this series. I'm staying optimistic, guys. I'm not trying to down this. I'm not trying to badmouth it. I'm really not. But when I just call it like I see it, the first 2 episodes were great. I enjoyed them. They kept me entertained, engaged, and enthralled. Well, this episode let me down in more ways than one. The only redeeming factor was the morphing sequence. That was it. That was it. So watch it for yourself and let me know what you guys think. Drop comments in the section below. Don't be shy. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. You all know the deal. And until my next review of Power Rangers Beast Morphers, I believe next Saturday, this is Paul, Rangers Ready Go, and later.